Cheers, everyone. Welcome back to Cask 529. I'm Brian.
And I'm Shona.
And we're back with an exciting double blind. No, not double. Is it double?
Yeah, it's double.
It's double blind tonight.
Yeah, Charles sent it to us, and we don't know what it is. It's all sealed up. He sent us two, so I'm anxious to do both of them tonight.
So, Charles, I know you're already in the chat. Thanks for sending this to us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, and sorry about the fumble there as we were going live. Alexa started talking upstairs. I have a every Tuesday night at 9 o'clock reminder to take up the trash, and she started talking, and then I got distracted, and
she was all flustered. My producer was flustered.
I was all flustered.
It was bad. It was way bad. Let's start with the cheers to everybody here. Charles, I mentioned you. Appreciate you joining us tonight. Tater Dom, thank you. Stephen Scone, John Shank, great to see you guys. Mrs. Lori J, Mary Moreland, Kevin Westfall, Rick Moreland, and Life in the Patio. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Thanks for taking time out of your Tuesday evening to spend a little time with us and watch us do this blind tasting.
Yeah. I know Charles is in Florida, and we have a couple people from the southern part of the U.S. in here. So Betty is in the path of Hurricane Milton. Thoughts and prayers are out to you guys. Hopefully everything and your families, if you have family members in the path, we were thinking about you. We, our son actually is in Cocoa Beach area, so it's headed his way. Now he's on the Atlantic coast and not the Gulf Coast, thankfully, but still heading his way. So a little bit nervous about that.
I'm not sure who's more nervous.
Yeah, me.
Him
And he's
or
not
his mother.
returning my text or anything like that, so I give up. No.
But you know how kids are. I asked him at 8 o'clock this morning because he was going to evacuate if he was on the road yet. And about 4.5 hours later, I got a text, maybe in a few hours. So, you know, I guess there's no rush.
Yep. No rush when it comes to him. Rick Moreland, hit that like button. Thank you for putting that out there. Appreciate that. And also, yes, it was an awesome jam at the beginning, the starting soon with Rick's music. So thank you, Rick, for providing that.
Alan Adams, I see, has joined us. Cheers to you, Alan. Sugar Kitty, thanks for joining us.
Yes. All right, so tonight, like we said, Charles, who is in the chat, sent us two different blinds. Now, Charles is the Rye Guy. He always sends us ryes, so I'm super excited. I'm only assuming these are ryes. I have no clue. They could not be ryes. In my head, they are ryes. So we'll find out.
We will see.
So the first blind has 2 in it, and then the second blind will have 3 in it. So I thought we'd just start with the one that had 2 in it.
Ease into it.
Yeah, ease in. Well, I don't know. I have to ask Charles, were you like Rick, did you send us a hazmat in here? Am I going to be like, like begging for some water drops in one of these?
I'm going to guess that there's no hazmat here. I'm going to go out on that limb.
Rick, I can't tell you what I'm sipping. I'll tell you here in a little bit.
I'm sipping whatever's in this glass right here, Rick.
Some baking spices, a little bit of caramel right off the top. Didn't even have to search for them. It's right there. Some vanilla notes. Oak notes.
Rick's having a little A.M. Scott.
Oh, the cigar blend rye. Nice nose. I'm excited. No hazmat, thank you.
That's got a really nice palate on it.
A lot of baking spices all the way through. Nice,
Get some
creamy.
caramel on it up front.
Finish is nice and sweet.
And like you said, it is creamy.
I'm not thinking this one's very proofy. I'm not ready to say yet because it might hit me on the next one, but I'm going to guess around the 100 mark.
I was going to say around 100. Not real high, but I don't
No.
think it's sub 100.
John, it's 9 o'clock at night and you haven't ate your dinner yet? Oof. I don't think you'd want to be around me if it was 9 o'clock and I hadn't ate yet.
Listen, guys, Shona comes home from work generally about 4:30, and dinner is off the table by 5:15.
It's not off the table, depending on what I'm cooking.
And then we wonder why we're looking for a snack at 9 o'clock at night.
Definitely guessing this is a rye. It is full of baking spices. Sweet, creamy, caramel, vanilla, some char on the end. That nice, smooth all the way through.
It's got some nice legs.
Definitely putting that one around the 100 proof point.
Boy, it does have a lasting spice on there, though.
Yeah, it might be in the high 90s, but I'm going to leave it right around the 100.
It really coats your mouth.
Mm-hmm. Cheers, Buffalo Bourbon enthusiasts. Thanks for stopping by. And Stephen, there's nothing wrong with that breakfast whiskey pour. Especially if you're working nights. I mean, that's when you get off in the morning, that is your night.
We've got a, Stephen, we've got a beer that we found. Is it called a breakfast stout?
It is a breakfast stout.
Listen, I drink that thing any time of day.
And it has the word breakfast in it, so I feel that it is.
There's no problem. I don't think there's any problem with starting early in the morning on that one.
No.
I mean, if you're going to throw the name breakfast on it.
Yeah. Another nice nose. This one I'm not picking up the spices right on the nose, but I'm getting a lot of caramel.
I almost get like a mint.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to
like
say.
a mint on that
Like
one.
the second, yeah, a lot of mintiness to it.
Well, I got it right away, but I was like, what is that? What am I? Mr. Richie J, we do not even feel as nervous as we did last week.
No, because one, I already clarified there is no hazmat in this proof, in this batch. And so I was really nervous about the hazmats because I know what Rick had sent. So yeah, not as nervous.
Stephen Scone, as a military guy, I think that was pounded in. You can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
Wow, I love the mint on this one. I mean, it has the caramels and the vanilla, a little bit of oakiness.
I can't wait to try that one.
But yeah, that mint's really coming through.
That's the strongest thing I get on the nose. That's really unique.
It's oak forward.
It's minty.
It finishes with the mint.
Yeah, it's cool. It's so minty, it's cool.
Yeah. A little bit of a leather note in the middle, right before it finishes. I'm picking that up. Definitely some char in there, but the oak, it's really oaky all the way through, but it's kind of thin. It's not as creamy as the first one was. I really like this too. Definitely a lower proof. I'm going to guess it's a lower proof than the first one. This one had a little bit of a hug, but not like a super big hug, but a little bit of a hug. Where this one
doesn't.
Yeah, this one doesn't have a hug.
This one could be dangerous.
Yeah, it drinks really, really smoothly. John said this is his Friday night, so he's good for the next 2 days of having fun. Awesome. Just had to stay awake for the trivia tomorrow night. Missed it. That's right. Please stay awake, John.
Take a nap early, John.
That's right. But that's okay because was it Friday night or Saturday? It was Saturday night. I will admit, and this is normally Bryan. I passed out on the couch. It was probably 7:30.
Oh, we had gone up to the lake. Yeah.
Yeah, and normally it's Bryan that is sound asleep, but I couldn't keep my eyes open for nothing.
And now I know what she feels like. I couldn't go to sleep because freight train over here, I couldn't believe it. I'd never heard that.
I must have been exhausted.
I
It
wish
was
I
a
would have
long week.
recorded it because I know she looks at me like, no way, but way.
It was a long week last week, so yeah, I was ready for it. Bourbon and Balls, cheers. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers, Charlie. I slept most of yesterday away. I hate to see the bottom of that glass come. That's really, really tasty.
You know what the second one reminds me of, and I'm probably going to be way off base here. It reminds me, remember when we did the World Whiskey Day?
Yeah.
And we had the, five
Yeah.
or six from different parts? That reminds me, and I'm probably going to get the name wrong because I don't really drink it much. Is it Canadian Mist? Canadian...
I think we had Canadian Mist. I don't remember that well.
Yeah, because
to
I
say
remember
that's-
liking it during that. Why? Because it was, most like a American of what we had there. But it almost reminds me of that because it's a little bit different. But I could be completely off base. It's good. It's just a lot thinner than what the first one is. But we'll go back to the first one.
Yeah. John, I guess all I can say is go win some money on your poker game and then come over here and win some chances to win Eagle Rare.
That's right.
Jill Jones in the chat. Cheers
Welcome,
to you,
Jill.
Jill. I guess I just assumed that was Jill Jones. I shouldn't have assumed that, I guess. You going back? Have you already done that one over?
Yeah. I do love the mintiness on that one. I have no guess of what the first one is. I probably should, but I don't.
I'm going to go out on a limb, probably not a real big limb, and say we haven't had either of these. I think Charles has probably watched us enough to know what we've had and what we haven't had.
Send us a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I said, I like the first one the best, and then the second one. They're both great pours. I wouldn't turn away from either of them.
No, I like, on the first one, I like that spice and how it coats your mouth and it just hangs there. But on that second, there's something about that mint on that second one that's really... I've sensed mint before in pours, but that is so minty, it just works. Like you wouldn't think that much mint, but to me, it's really minty.
It is. And I like it.
I like it.
But I like number one better.
Okay. I think I'd probably like number two better.
Okay.
I like one, but I'd probably pick two.
All right, let's see what we're drinking.
Okay. Let's see. All right, I got that right. It was Jill.
Okay. So the first one that I liked the best was Early Times Bottled in Bond, 100 proof.
Times.
Got that right. Woohoo! It is a straight
job.
bourbon, not a rye.
Wow.
Thanks for surprising me on that, Charles. So, company Early Times Distillery. It's a Brown Forman distillery. It's 100 proof, aged 4 years. The mash bill is 79% corn, 11% rye, 10% malted barley. The nose, subtle hints of honey and orange peel, faded to a caramel backdrop. You know what? I probably missed the honey on that, but I didn't get the citrus, the orange peel on that. I'm gonna.
I was going to say, you can't,
No, I
now you
didn't.
can't say, oh yeah, I get the citrus.
No, I was just, I didn't get it.
I'm surprised you didn't get the honey because you usually get the honey.
Yeah. So palate, sweet caramel and candy corn. It's creamy, rich texture, citrus and vanilla,
I did get the caramel on the palate.
and a subtle tobacco note, light rye spices. The finish with a peppery rye pop, and that's exactly why I thought it was a rye, because because Charles sends us a lot of rye, so I have really thought it was a rye, but it's in there. Awesome. Okay, you ready to find out what your favorite is?
I am. John, we assumed it was going to be a rye as well.
Oh, that makes sense. So,
Ancient age.
10 star was number 2, and it is a 90 proof, so that makes sense because it did drink a lot lighter.
Drink a lot lighter.
It's a bourbon, non-age stated, generally thought to be around 3 years old. Producer obviously is Sazerac. See, the aroma, vanilla and toffee appear right away. Light note of caramel, bread dough. And I'm looking through there to see if there was any mint in there. Does not say so. I'm shocked because I really thought there was. I mean, we both guessed mint on it, so to us it has a minty note. The palate, rich caramel and brown sugar with hints of sweet vanilla and toffee show up. A bit of heat on this bourbon, even at a 90 proof. I guess after drinking the first one, I didn't get the heat on that one, but maybe if I was just drinking it by itself, I may have got the heat on it. The finish is medium length, but not as light in weight as I would have expected for such a low proof whiskey. So I have to ask because I do not know. We only have the ancient age. So this is the ancient age 10 star. How much does that go for? Because I'm telling you what, that is a good pour.
So ancient age is what Terry's been buying up when he sees it, because he knows somebody that likes it. And I'm thinking a handle at Reesbeck's is only $20-some.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, I mean.
So I started watching for it 2 weeks ago, and they haven't had it again. But I'm actually looking for that, and we'll get it because they have it quite frequently at Reesbeck's.
So I would like to do something real quick. I don't think anybody will mind. So please let me try this. Humor me if you will. All right, I'm putting AA back here. We got B. He called him AA and BB on this one. So we got BB up against, I just want to taste it because we don't have it at the moment. I just want to taste it up against Blanton's, the regular Blanton's. Because I know a lot of people compare that. We compared, Josh and Brian compared the regular Blanton's to the ancient age. But I just want to compare it to this one here, while we're on here, just to see what we think. And I know it won't be blind just because, obviously we know what we're pouring, but.
Charles, that's interesting that rumor has it it's discontinued. I hadn't heard that. But back to your previous comment about this being a budget blind, there's absolutely nothing wrong with a budget blind.
No, I honestly like the budget bourbons. I like.
She likes the non-budget bourbons too. Don't let her fool you.
I do. But I get enjoyment out of when I go to the liquor store and I have like 3 bottles for,
Just the Blantons?
Yeah, that's the Blantons. For like $100, $120 compared to 1 bottle for $150. I mean, that kind of makes me happy.
I can tell you, and this may not be a popular comment in the chat, but I can tell you this Blanton's is not going to be as good to me as that was.
Shock me, Shauna's phrase 2024. Which phrase, Mr. Richie J? Oh, the Bowman. Is it the John? Do you compare that to the single? We only have a small batch. We don't have the single barrel. Oh my gosh, I don't know what I even said, so you guys got to help me out. What did I say?
It's not bad to me, but it's a completely different profile than what. Like I can drink that solo. It tastes a little better to me than it does right now because we're comparing it. You said it shocked you. Is the comment.
Oh, okay. This is really bad to say because I know we're not drinking at blinds, but I really do like the ancient age better than the Blantons.
I knew I would, yeah.
I seriously do.
Now, I will tell you, the best
Remarkable
pour of single barrel Blantons that I've ever had
Isn't it that
is
decanter?
in that decanter back there, and it has sat there in that decanter since December. And it's really incredible. I enjoy having a pour out of that.
So, okay, the Bowman single barrel. All right, we will have to look for that one. I know it comes in here and there. I'm shocked. All right. We will have to look for the single barrel, John, so that we can put it up against that. But we need to find, if we can find it, that ancient age.
We'll find it.
Because that is good. Yeah, really good.
Okay, so Charles.
Great
Blind
first
number one, incredible.
Yes.
Budget blind or not, that was awesome.
Yes. So move up the second one. We've got A, B, and C this time. While we are doing that, I do have a little bit of a giveaway tonight that we're going to do. So we found the all right, so today I was looking, and I didn't want to give whiskey stones again. I didn't want to give a candle. I don't know how everybody felt about the candle giveaway. I kind of liked it, the whiskey scented candle, but I found this bourbon Bible that is, I wrote it down here. It's a hardcover by Eric Zandona. It explores 140 bourbons and 20 cocktail recipes. So that's going to be tonight's giveaway. And I am going to start the giveaway. So we'll do this at the end of the show. And you have to type in !winner. So anybody that wants entered into that, feel free to do that. It will ship to the winner from Amazon.
There's a lot of action going on here in the chat.
Oh, okay.
First off, I stand behind that. I've never been a huge Blanton's fan ever. I think it's a decent product. I think it's way overrated for what it is. And when we first got into this,
it was only $50 to $5.
Yeah,
like
Shona got us 2 bottles. Somehow she walked into a grocery store, got us 2 bottles at $55 a bottle, and we thought that was outrageous. Blanton's today in our area is $83, which to me is just absurd. I mean, that's way too much money for what's in the bottle. But that's my opinion, and that's why they make so many different bourbons, because there's something out there for everybody. However, we have compared Blanton's to several different things and said, you know what? I would gladly pay $30 or $40 for this versus whatever for Blanton's.
Yep.
But Josh and I, first of the year, January timeframe probably, we did an ancient age versus Blanton's blind, and ancient age won that for both of us. So I was not surprised by what we found when Shauna poured that up for us. Anyway, that's addressing that. There's lots of suggestions here of what to try against Blanton's.
Oh, okay, good.
Charles had a comment there on what to try against Old Forester 1924. So there's some ideas there, things we need to try.
Perfect. I'll have to look at those. I did see where John said that he loves books, and I remember that, John, and I remember when we very first started trivia, when I was trying to figure out how to do it before we started using Trivia Maker, when you stuck with us when we had really bad audio and all that kind of stuff, those days, on trivia night, you told me, because you got all the answers always right, and you told me about a book or something that you had read, and I completely forget that, but it came to mind this weekend when I was writing this week's trivia questions. So if you remember what you may have said a few months ago about what you had read, please let me know. I'd appreciate that. However, before we get started on the next one, I do want to share, since you guys are here, if you guys are joining tomorrow night for trivia night, what the topics are.
Hey, Tammy Adams, I hadn't seen you in the chat, so cheers and welcome. And Mr. Ritchie, I have never seen a store pick Blanton's. That doesn't surprise me, though. I hear that about a lot of different bottles, that the store pick is head and shoulders above what's on the shelf. So that'd be interesting if we could find one of those.
So I will tell you, if you join tomorrow, you are most likely going to get 1,000 points. Most likely. Because one round, Bryan got 100% correct. That's never happened.
That's how easy they are, guys.
They're super, super easy. In fact, you guys are maybe upset with me with how easy they are. But I wanted to ensure that everybody who played got an entry. And everybody said that I kind of write hard questions. So I wanted an easy round.
John wants to know if you remember, was it Bourbon Empire?
Oh, that sounds right. That does sound right. I will be looking for that if you can still get it. So the first round tomorrow night will be ordering whiskey at a bar trivia. That's all I'm going to tell you. The second round tomorrow night will be Heaven Hill Distillery whiskey trivia. Heaven Hill was one of the distilleries that someone suggested that we do. So that will be our second round tomorrow night.
I have not seen that round of questions.
He did not, no. But I will tell you, the first round, he got a 100%, which y'all know that he only gets a 30, maybe a 40% normally. So he was like doing cartwheels.
So dramatic.
I will tell you, this next round is a lot darker than the first round.
There's a huge difference in color.
Let's see what we got, starting with the first one. Sorry to hold you guys up with that.
But are you?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it is, what is it, 9:30 now? Well, in our time. Bourbon and Ball says 9:30. A lot of people are 9:30. Light from the Patio is 8:30.
John's 9:30. Light from the Patio is 8:30.
I'm having a hard time getting anything off the nose on this one.
I'm getting a whole lot off of that, really.
A little bit of spice. Reset my palate. See if I can.
That's your nose. It's not your palate.
Yeah, my palate, my nose. Sorry, guys. A lot of baking spices, a little bit of caramel. I'm getting char, a lot of char coming through
is what
for
I'm
me.
Getting. That's what I'm getting primarily.
Steven's night's just starting. All right, let's see.
Steven's also an East Coast guy, I think. Mm.
This one packs a little bit of a punch on the initial. I don't know if
really
it's from the
rich.
spice or if it's from the proof.
It's bold. It's that's interesting.
Ooh.
That's really good.
All right. I don't want to guess this so far. I'm guessing this is a Jack Daniels. And I'm guessing that because I'm getting a little bit of banana, but I'm also getting a bubblegum note that I get off the Jack Daniels Rye. I don't know if that's even
Well, they
close.
say the banana should be your trigger.
But I'm definitely getting banana, and then it's finishing with a bubblegum note. And I get that on almost every single Jack Daniels, the square bottles, the ryes, the twice barreled and the single barrel rye. Love it.
So, Steve, in Central Bama, that'd be your Central Time Zone then, aren't you? I'm not sure if you poured my side light.
No, I think you just took a big gulp.
You think?
Yeah, you gulped that thing down.
I think that's not what happened.
Okay, I'm making a note. I really think that one is a Jack Daniels Rye. Definitely getting those characteristics that I feel that I've gotten before in a Jack Daniels. Definitely getting the banana. Definitely getting the bubblegum note with a lot of the baking spice, a lot of char throughout it. The oak. That one is just a solid pour. I want to say it's the Jack Daniels. That's what I'm saying it is. I don't know if that's what it is, but it is good.
It puts me in mind a lot of the single barrel proof.
Those are normally high 120s and 130s. Now I'm double guessing myself because I don't know if it drank that hot.
I'll bet it drank 115. Between 115 and 120, I'm going to say. I think this, it's because it's smooth, and I think the smoothness takes away from the proof. I think it'll fool you if you go too low on that.
I know. I can tell you, A is delicious, and it's B has a lot to live up to after tasting A. So, one that the spices on it, I don't think it was the proof. The spices on it actually got me on that one. Rick, still no news on your flask. All right, I will. Brian will get with Charlie at Bourbon and Balls and find out information on the shipping of your flask. I apologize about that. All right, ready?
Still a very good pour. Not nearly as full-bodied, I don't think, as A was.
A lot of sweetness.
I got a lot of brown sugar up front on that one. Maybe a little bit of caramel in there. Totally different profile than A.
As you're reading, John's providing the information on that book for me. Thank you very much, John. I don't know.
Totally different.
B is a little bit thinner than A, but it's really good as well. Welcome, Mitch Grimm. So on the initial, I'm getting a lot of spice, the baking spices. Caramel's coming through, vanilla's coming through. Getting that brown sugar note.
I've got a lot of residual spice on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of lingering around.
Fruity notes at the end. Like it's not the cherry, but I would definitely say a little bit of the, I almost want to go with a strawberry note, like a really ripe strawberry note on the end.
Huh.
It's like a chocolate. I didn't get the cocoa notes though, so it's like a caramel covered strawberry note. That's a new one for the book, for the wheel. I had to tell Mike that one.
I feel like I have to take baby sips to make sure I have some left.
That's not my fault. I poured these equally, guys.
This is why I always pour on What's in the Glen Wednesday.
So he can pour himself more.
Speaking of What's in the Glen Wednesday, would you like to address that?
I would. I would like to thank you guys because
it's still not doing well.
But those who heard me speak went and watched it, and I really appreciate it.
So it's got 5 views now.
It's not going away. Guys, please tell Brian in the chat that What's in the Glen Wednesday is not going away. And I don't even know why I worry, because I'll do it by myself if he doesn't want to be on them. So it's all good. Oh, thank you, Charlie. Thanks for getting that.
Thanks, Charlie. Appreciate that.
Ooh. I'm going to be completely wrong on this, but I think this is Ambrano finished. I'm getting that cinnamon apple pie note.
Charlie's eyes just lit up when you said that. Ambrano finished.
Yeah, you think so? I'm really getting that note, that characteristic that I get every time it's finished like that. That is, oh, I love the nose on this one.
Let's see if we get it.
Cheers, Gandy.
Hey, Gandy, thanks for joining us.
If this is not an Ambrano finish,
you know what's really weird is
I am going to be shocked because I'm getting it.
I felt like I did have the Ambrano, but then there was like a real strong cinnamon, maybe.
And I get that, on it. But I'm getting the apple pie filling. I'm getting.
I'm not saying I'm not getting that. It's just got a different taste.
This really reminds me of the RD1 that we have. It does.
This is hotter, I think, than that.
I don't think it should be hotter. Do we have any of that left?
Right here. Oh. Front row, guys. Front row.
So ours is 117.26 proof. This pour is reminding me of this bottle. It's a Party Source pour. I don't want to pour it yet, but we'll pour it and compare it. Save yourself a little bit if you could. Don't gulp it. Yeah. But I want to do it before we open the envelope. I want to taste it against this because this really reminds me of this bottle here. That is nice. Love all the notes. To me, it gets on the front of the palate a little bit of oakiness, and then it's the apple cinnamon pie comes in. It's like a delicious hot apple pie, and it rounds up with a little bit of cinnamon on the end. Again, the apple pie filling sweetness. It's, to me, amazing. Now, with that said, I don't know if it'll beat A, because A was a solid pour too, but it's probably definitely going to beat B.
Mr. Richie J, you're the second guy tonight. Once in a live I was in before this that I've heard talking about Crittenden's cigar cut. We've not had any Crittenden's.
We have.
Have we?
Yes. Rick, I believe, sent us one of those.
Was there a Crittenden's in there?
I think maybe either it was a sample or it may have even been. No, I think it was just a sample that we had. But Rick, did you send us one of those? I'm pretty sure that you did. Because I remember that name and I remember tasting it.
I gotta see. That's nothing I've ever seen, I don't think, in Ohio.
That is right, Richie. He sent us the pecan finish.
Okay, the Crittenden's.
You remember that?
I think I do, yeah.
So B is a solid pour. It is really good, honestly. I don't get a ton of off the nose on that one, but it is a really solid pour, and it has a little bit of a chocolate note to it at the finish that I didn't pick up the first time through, that I really liked. However, I had to taste A again, but these are kind of all over the board of tasting profiles.
They are all very different, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, I don't know. I guess he had them labeled right as far as.
John just said that they have a double oaked, and John knows that I love double oaks.
He says that's a Bruzel pick.
Oh, it's a Bruzel pick. Well, probably won't have that one. However, do they have a double oak that's not a Bruzel pick?
I'm sure. I'm sure they do.
All right.
Rick just chimed in with the pecan.
Thank you, Rick.
John
that
says
was,
yes, they have their own.
Oh, good. All right, I am still that A, not number A, letter A, is a Jack Daniels. And it is so good. So for this one, honestly, I'm going to go A, C, B. Do you have your lineup?
You know, A and C would be a toss-up, really.
I know.
I think I prefer the A a little more than C, so I'm gonna go with your same lineup.
Okay.
And B is good. It's just seems to be so much thinner than A and C.
So we're both going A, C, B.
Yeah.
But before
you want to taste the RD1.
Yes. Before I open this, I just want to taste C against our RD1 to see how close it is.
I think it's going to be a lot different.
So Pursuit United is another double oak I would search for. I'm embarrassed to say this, John, but I have never heard of Pursuit United. Is that a Kentucky? What state is that from? Do you know?
I don't.
I've never heard of it, so I apologize.
And then I've also got a question to everybody in the chat, and that is, do we have anybody in Indiana, Kentucky, or Pennsylvania, or West Virginia that knows whether or not Crittenden's available in those states? Or if you're not in those states, but you know the answer to the question, would be great too.
Yeah. Or if you can get the Crittenden's double oaked, who's willing to hook me up?
She has Venmo and not afraid to use it.
All right. So the RD1 against C. Okay, so The Pursuit United is from the guys with the Bourbon Pursuit podcast that have started blending quite well, I'd say. Okay, I gotta find them and listen to them.
Charlie says they're solid.
Oh,
They've got really similar noses.
they do. However, I would say the RD1 maybe a little bit sweeter and a little bit warmer.
Now, before you haven't tasted again either, right? So I what I'm going to say is I think before you taste, I think the RD1, that Amburano is going to pop a lot more on the RD1 than it is on C. Okay, which one are you trying first?
Well, I already tried the RD1, so go ahead. Okay, so C is a lot oakier than the RD1. It's not as sweet, but still, the apple pie filling that I got on the RD1 is right there. I will tell you, I like C better than our RD1 though. But I love the RD1 pick.
So John, are you saying Crittenden is available in Kentucky? Am I understanding that correctly?
Which one you like better? Oh, he's chewing. He's chewing.
Okay, so you know I like the RD1 because we had to have that when we tasted it.
We did.
Never mind the fact that we probably shouldn't have been making any buying decisions at the point when we bought that. But I think I'm picking C.
Oh, absolutely.
I think I'm picking C.
I like the little oakiness that comes with
And
C.
I didn't get all that oak at first on that.
Until you tasted it.
Well,
with
no,
this.
I tasted it ahead of this.
Mm-hmm.
But on my last sip of C, I really rolled it around a lot more and got it everywhere on my palate. Yep. And that was about the time you were talking about the oak. And I was like, wow, there is a lot more oak there than I thought there
After
was.
tasting it with a really sweet one, it popped out for me.
Yeah, it's
It's so
solid.
funny, honestly, what different whiskeys will do. One, when you're with a group of people and enjoy drinking whiskey with them. We had this conversation, not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before with a group on a Sunday evening.
Kevin, if you're still in the chat, I don't know if you're still in there or not.
Chris, Tim, however.
Anybody.
Whiskey does such different things on your palate when you are with a group of people and able to sit there and discuss it and have fun with it. And it's completely different. And even me, when I get a pour of whiskey, just, when I get home or in the evening and Brian's not drinking, because yes, I am the drinker and not Brian, it'll taste completely different if I come down here and have a pour all by myself compared to if we're sitting down here discussing it.
Mr. Richie J, we appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much. That night that Shona is talking about, there must have been, I don't know, we had a table full of bourbon sitting there. And there must have been, 7 or 8 of us.
Yeah.
Anyway, were you trying to say something?
No, guys, go
But
ahead.
we were, it was kind of cool because we'd take a pour, everybody would get a pour of something, and it was kind of like a boardroom table. We just went around the table and talked about what we were getting out of it. And well, I didn't get that, so we'd go back around again. I didn't indulge like I would have liked to have
Because he was driving.
because we were probably, I don't know, it's not that far, but it's probably like a 40-minute drive.
Right.
So
Because it was country roads.
yeah, it's probably only less than 20 miles. But anyway, yeah, it was a great time.
And I will tell you, they let me taste their old Carters. They had 3 old Carters.
Who's had Old Carter?
But 2 of them were open, so they allowed me to taste them. And I begged them to allow us to do a live sometime with all 3 of the old Carters.
That's what we ought to try to do this Friday. We got to see if Kevin can do it live
We'll
this
see if
Friday.
they can come on and join us. Kevin, if you're still watching, any chance we can do an old Carter live Friday night?
Old Carter was, I had heard of it and I'd seen it, and I don't know where I'd seen it, but I had seen it, and it was incredible. It really was. What are you
Okay,
laughing at?
Charles, you completely got us. So, A, which was our first place, is Bomber's Declaration Straight Bourbon 2023, bottle 1520 of 2,977, batch 23E 1947, 108 proof.
Now, we have had Bombergers. I have no idea what I would have to text Mike and ask him what we had.
Yeah.
That was, we had
It was
on
2024.
on the
I can
night
tell
of
you
our
that.
1,000 subscriber giveaway. That was one of the bonus pours that Mike and Terry brought for us, and it was incredible.
Yes. B.
John, what do you know about this? Shank's Homestead Distillery.
That is, please, 3rd for us. Sour Mash Whiskey, Shank's Homestead Distillery Sour Mash Whiskey 2024, bottle 1449 of 2437, batch 24E2247, 91.2 proof. That placed 3rd for us tonight. Then Evernorth Spirits Essence Finishing Series 3. It was Ambrano. Yay! I got it right. 6-year, 110 proof, placed 2nd for us.
Now, have you ever heard of Evernorth
So
Spirits?
that is Bourbon Junkies.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Charles, is that correct?
Bourbon Junkies does Evernorth, correct? Gandy sent us our first Evernorth.
Yes.
I think it was Evernorth. So I don't want to speak wrong.
I think you did, because I think we Googled it.
Yeah, and it was so good. It actually placed first for us. I know, guys. I've had
It
fourth.
placed fourth.
I'm so sorry. It's way past my bedtime. So, Gandy, correct. Thank you, Gandy. Yes, Bourbon Junkies.
Yeah.
So that placed 2nd for us. I really like that. I did really like it. I liked it better than the RD1 that we put it up against. So thank you. Great pours. I do not even know, honestly, what the pricing and stuff like this is on any of these. So I am 100% positive that these are not the low proof, like the low cost ones. I'm sure these are probably more of the over the $100.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah. But Charles,
idea
thank
whatsoever.
you for sharing them. And I will tell you that they are starting to affect me, because all I had for dinner was a bowl of Cheerios when I got home.
And when she's talking about forced, and you don't know whether it's fourth or first,
Sorry.
you got issues. Somebody got issues. Okay, so John is sending us, what did I see? Pursuit United. He's waiting on a new bottle to arrive.
Oh,
John, we
yay.
appreciate that,
Thank you.
sir. All you guys, we always
Yes.
appreciate everything you guys do for us. Just being here, we appreciate.
We do. And I know that I did see where is it Richie that was sending us Crittington? Or John? I seen it somewhere. Mr. Richie J.
Mr. Richie.
He, maybe not. Where did I see that?
I also want to say, guys, I think we've got some patron anniversaries coming up.
Yes.
So we'll be getting some things out in the mail.
Yes, John and Rick Moreland.
John and Rick Moreland
coming up soon.
So your 4-month correct anniversaries are coming up.
Yep.
So we'll be getting stuff out to you.
Right, and I am going to go ahead and pick the winner of the Bourbon Bible and see. Oh, it was you. Thank you, Richie J. Sorry. He can see when I'm struggling. Thanks. So I need to refresh this. I am going to pick the winner of the Bourbon Bible. Charles, thank you so much for these 2 blinds.
That was an awesome
They were
setup
great.
of both those blinds, Charles.
And I'm really glad he did not tell me the order to do them in, but I'm glad I did them in the order that I did them in.
You put them in a great order.
It really helped. Okay, the winner is Bourbon and Balls. Great job. Charlie, I have your address, so I will get that shipped out to you this evening.
The Bourbon Bible.
Before I go to sleep, I will make sure that is shipped out to you.
So I can't tell you guys, it's really a bummer for us, I think, when these wrap up, because
we will test it, we will follow through, we will get it working. We were supposed to go to North Carolina this weekend. That got canceled. Unfortunately, our friends down in North Carolina got COVID, so we will be home this weekend. And I promise you, I am dedicating several hours to making sure Bryan can start going to live and bringing people on. Is that good?
yes,
are you happy? Are
it
you
is
happy
good.
now?
I can't believe she made that commitment.
I made that commitment
because she's made that commitment before and it hasn't really gone anywhere.
But
So now she's made that commitment. So my idea is once a week, Shona wants a break. So once a week, I'm going to be solo. I talked about calling it like solo sipping or something like that. Anyway, just go sit here at the bar, have a couple, 3, 4 pours, whatever. Let you guys dictate it. I'll open it up. People can join me. We'll get you on cam. And we'll just have a good time. Just relax, talk about whatever comes up, and we'll go from there.
And if you guys see me on here, you know Bryan's struggling with the system.
Yeah, I figure the first couple times I'm going to need some help. Because Shona's one of those, just give me that. Just here, I'll do it. She is.
It's easier than watching him pout, guys. It's really easier than watching him
And
pout.
guys, I didn't see anybody in the chat when I asked. Nobody has had Old Carter. I can't believe that.
Nobody has?
Another thing we had that same night was the Buffalo Trace, kosher, rye, and wheat. What's your thoughts on that if you've had that? Because we had both. We weren't crazy about the wheat whatsoever, but the rye was, we thought the rye was pretty good.
The rye was good. The wheat, and I am a big wheat fan. Normally on wheats, I get that cherry note that I love. And that wheat, I struggled. I really struggled. I got a lot of the ethanol that I get off of the other Buffalo Trace. But the rye was delicious. It was very good.
John has not seen Old Carter nor the Buffalo Trace kosher stuff.
Okay.
We have not seen the Buffalo Trace kosher stuff ourselves. We obviously know it was released, and I think it was actually dropped in our area, but we didn't.
Well, I know
the name
that...
Buffalo Trace would steer me away from it. I probably wouldn't even have thought about spending a dime on it.
Right. And I know that the gentleman that gets that for that group, his daughter lives in Chicago, and it drops in Chicago, so he was able to get it there.
Okay, so Charlie says Old Carter sits on the shelves at Wicker Barn in northern Kentucky. So we're going to be going to Northern Kentucky.
Well, it's probably like $5,000 there or something.
I don't know. Is that retail down there, Charlie, or is
No.
that like a secondary price?
What is the price?
Because
sitting on the
retail was
shelves?
plenty on that stuff. From what we said, it was like what, $2.49.
He was paying $2.50 a dollar. $2.50 a bottle.
$2.50 a
for it,
bottle.
yeah. So what is that?
So yeah, I
price?
mean that would be like maxed out. But let's see. I saw Mr. Ritchie.
And I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if it's worth the $2.50 because I'm gonna say A and C I probably enjoyed better.
Yeah, but you don't know what retail is on unless Charles told you.
No, I do not know.
Yeah, he did. The Shanks and Baumburgers are $109.
Oh, there
and
you
are
go.
both Michter's products. The Ever North was $80.
There you go. So much cheaper than old Carter's.
So thanks for that info, Charles. We totally missed that. We had too much jibber jabber going
So
on.
bourbon and balls, $2.50. So that is what they paid as
So
well.
that's retail.
Yep, that is retail. So thank you.
Charlie, have you had that stuff? Charles, these were all great. These are, I hate to see them go empty, but
I do too.
it's going to happen.
However, I had to get up at 5 a.m. to go to work, so Brian's probably going to finish mine, even though maybe I'll just cover them and have them for tomorrow when I get home from
I
work.
think you need to cover them. That's what I think.
They were great. And thank you, honestly, thanks, Charles, for sending that ancient age, because I've truly been wanting to try it, and comparing it to Blanton's, remarkable. So thank you for opening my eyes to that. Not that I'm a Blanton's snob at all. Obviously, I wanted all 8 of them to collect the corks so that we could, do a display board eventually when we get them all drank. But it's just eye-opening, and I wish other people would realize that too. That a $20 bottle can be just as good as a $75 bottle.
I think when you're new to this, though, when you're new to the bourbon thing, Blanton's is just that name that pops out, and everybody thinks I've got to have Blanton's. And for us, we had friends that were big Blanton's drinkers. And the first time, and so we got Blanton's, the 2 bottles I talked about her getting. I think that was the first 2 bottles we ever had.
Yep.
And our first pour of it, we were like, this is awful. People were paying $50 for this.
But they're single barrels, so every bottle may taste
Everyone's different, and we actually did a blind on that. We did a blind where we opened 4 bottles.
Yep.
And they were all very different.
Yeah. And we also did that on the 4 Roses.
We did on
and they were
single barrels.
All different, and there was one that I truly loved, and I have never found another batch of that one because it had the truest cherry note on the finish for me. Kind of depressing, guys. Really depressing.
Okay, so Charlie has a bottle. I'm not sure which one, but he loves it. Mr. Ritchie wasn't impressed with the one he had. John Shank asked, is an Old Carter MGP? I can't answer that. Charlie may know that if he's still listening. And John also thinks he should send us some John J. Bowman.
Hey, if you want to, John, I would love that. If you have the single barrel, that would be great, or however you want to send it. Just reach out to us at cask529info@gmail.com, and we can work something out, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, that would be great. And again, we appreciate all you guys. Thanks for coming into our chat.
Yes.
Answering our questions. Hopefully next week I'll be able to get some of you guys on here with us, or with me.
No way. So Charles got the Bombakers and the Shanks at Winn-Dixie. I hear that so much about Florida, that they're available at Winn-Dixie all the time.
Yeah, and you know what? We can't get our son.
No.
I don't even want to talk about it.
No.
But when Russell's was hitting all over Florida, I mean literally all over Florida, we couldn't get him to even go look for it.
No, not at all. However, we did get to taste that thanks to Mark and Casey, thankfully, because that's probably all we're getting.
A couple Fridays ago, Mark and Casey brought it as a bonus pour on a Friday Night Live. And of course, we never know what the bonus pour is until after we've tasted it and talked about it. And it was It was incredible. I mean, as soon as we tasted it,
I actually guessed what it was before
Yeah.
she brought it out because it was such a good pour. Much better than the 13.
and 13 solid.
It is solid. And however, the price on it is so ridiculous, to be honest, and hard to get. However, I will tell you, it is much better than the 13.
It is, and would I like to have it? Yes, I would. However, if I'm going out right now to buy something, I don't know. Now that I know I can go down to Kentucky and get that old Carter, I might rather go buy that, honestly, because it was really good.
The bottle we had was good. The 2 bottles we had were good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like we've probably kept you guys long enough. Let's see what Charles said here. Yeah, $500 to $600, Charles. That is freaking nuts. I mean, retail's $250. It dropped here as a bonus drop a couple 3 weeks ago. I don't know how many weeks ago it's been. We were going over to Troy, Ohio to do a live with Bourbon and Balls. I could have gone and got in line to get the Russells, but I wasn't quite ready to go to Troy. I just didn't want to be late for that because.
Is it 250 or 279?
250.
250.
249.
Okay. I was thinking a little bit more.
So I could have got there and I could have got a bottle, but to me it was more important to be on time to where we were supposed to be. So
yeah.
That's what I did, and you know what? If it's meant to be, it'll show up again, and I'll get my hands on it. But
yep.
I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Last year I really wanted a Yellowstone limited edition, and I didn't get it until this spring, and probably my biggest bourbon disappointment to date.
Yeah, and I would never let him spend that money again, ever.
No,
it was pure ethanol. It was worse than Buffalo Trace to me, to be honest. At like 5 times the price.
Kind of drastic. I don't know if it was that bad, but
it was pretty bad.
It was a big well, we paid $30 over retail, I think, for it.
John promises to make it tomorrow night.
John,
your
we hope
alarm.
to see you.
Set your alarm.
And it was great to see you here tonight.
Yes.
And
right,
I think we're just going to cut it right there. So thanks for joining us, everybody. And until next time, be safe, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.